to dream, we sleep to build stamina, energy to do our thing. Get your camera. This show is about to begin, so sit down and buckle it in. Let's go! Yeah, baby. This show is about...
Good morning.
How's it going, my friend? How's it going?
It's going good. Good. Sorry, running about 30 minutes late, but we had to get some stuff together this morning. But we are so happy to see you guys. Mr. Brian, what's new in your zoo?
You know, it's funny how you say zoo because we have a story about that today.
Oh,
yeah. We have a story about...
I didn't even know that. That's
about,
great.
The zoo fetish. That's going to be in our weekly weird. I'm not doing bad, man. I'm just doing. I'm going. I'm rocking out hard. I feel pretty good because after criticizing the Stargate Timekeepers demo yesterday, the developers over there emailed us and gave us the full game. Like, before you criticize it, play the full game, bro. All right.
I like that. Well, maybe don't put out something that can be criticized.
Right. Yes. I mean, you put the demo out.
The whole game.
It wasn't me. Maybe if the demo is not as good as the regular game,
then why put out the demo?
Yeah, and you don't need a demo.
Yeah.
But I am excited to get to check that out this weekend. I got the game. I installed it. It's
Any
really
excuse to not do work. I love it.
It's gigantic. Well, technically, this is a type of work.
It's work. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I did a little impromptu test of the demo yesterday, about half an hour in the members section. I just wanted to see if it was something worth talking about today. And, lo and behold, after getting the email, I was told that we can't talk about it until the review embargo ends. So,
is the game any fun? You can at least say that.
I can say that the demo was definitely... I can see it being fun, but the demo wasn't quite there yet. The graphics looked incredible. Like all this, clearly fans made that game. It wasn't made
people
by
who love Stargate. Well, that's always, if you're starting there, then you're doing something right.
100%.
So you can't say anything else. You can't say nothing about it.
I mean, if you're a member, you can go look at. I didn't take it down. You can go look at the. I played through the demo. I gave my thoughts on it. It definitely has potential. I'm assuming the actual game is slightly different, but I guess the demo is just showing like the basic mechanics and what you can do.
Can you do a members playthrough on the actual game?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so maybe this weekend.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we had a very interesting. It's been an interesting couple of days. It is Friday. January 19th, if you guys are keeping track. Some days I forget. I was actually on a long trip yesterday, which allowed me to watch a whole lot of YouTube and Twitter and all kinds of stuff. And something that popped up that was extraordinarily interesting was, not for everybody, was Davos, right? I kept seeing Davos pop everywhere. What the hell is Davos? Davos is a city in, I believe in Switzerland, right? It's in Switzerland. Davos is a city in Switzerland, and it happens to be where the World Economic Forum is holding its big convention. You know how we go to like Comic-Con and different types of conventions like this? Well, this is like a special meeting place for the ultra rich. You got to get an invitation to get there, not just anybody can come. But what's interesting about Davos is nearly everybody has the same kind of economic thoughts. It's more of like a
good afternoon,
elite
thank you very much,
and it's definitely, some would say, it feels more of like a left-leaning, progressive type of culture.
Yeah,
in that environment, right?
Yeah.
And there were some
left-leaning is like generous. I think it's like very left-leaning.
It's definitely left-leaning.
Yeah.
So what was interesting is they just happened to have a special guest speaker there. And that would be Argentina's president, Javier Milei, who, if you've been paying attention to the news, was a guy who became a populist figure, won his election in Argentina, and came in and completely started slashing things. Right, Brian?
Yep, he did. Slashed away.
He slashed away. He started firing people, and immediately, and the reason why is because Argentina's had this. They've spent over, and he talks about it in this discussion. He talks about how over the last 100 years, it's continued to decline because they've embraced collectivism and socialism. And he's come in as this basically he was an economist, right?
Yeah, can I show some clips of him real quick? So
Show clips so people know what we're talking about. Because the thing we're teasing here is that he basically punches all these people at Davos in the stomach.
Yeah, and so this is the president they elected. I'm trying to get my screen right here. Oh my god. This is the president they elected. It's in Spanish, but there's subtitles. Here we go.
Yo no me metí acá para estar guiando corderos. Yo me metí acá para despertar leones. ¡Quiero escucharlos rugir! ¡Viva Europa!
That's one of his rallies, and this is when he started cutting stuff. This is actually really, really funny.
¡La mierda! Equipo y deporte, afuera. Ministerio de Cultura, afuera. Ministerio de Ambiente y Desarrollo Sostenible, afuera. Ministerio de las Mujeres y Género y Diversidad, afuera. Ministerio de Obras Públicas, afuera. Aunque te resistas. Ministerio.
I love it when he goes, afuera!
So this guy came in, he was elected, he's very passionate, but the world media, the left media, immediately began touting this guy as, oh, it's Argentina's Trump, right? Because as you know, and putting out Trump's name is an insult, right? If you're a politician.
Right.
So they thought, and to some degree, because Trump is a populist, I would say this guy's a populist, and a populist person running for office.
Right.
So, but let me tell you something. Shouldn't every government official, anybody running for office, be a populist? Shouldn't you be running for the majority of the people you represent?
Yes.
Like that's the whole point of populism.
Yeah. Oh, he's a populist. How is that a bad thing? Isn't it a good thing if people if the person you're electing is popular with their electors?
Well, why do you think they call it populist? Because a lot of people like them, right? A lot of regular people, but not people that are part of the establishment.
Right.
They're anti-establishment. Well, guess what? What he's saying in the speech is that establishment is bad.
Right.
And he goes through, and what's interesting about this guy is they're calling him Trump, but the difference between this guy and Trump is that when this guy delivers a speech, he actually is extraordinarily intelligent. He is an economist, and he comes backing it up with facts. So, kind of like how a lot of people are put off by Trump because he does this thing where he just insults people and he's kind of a jerk.
Right.
Well, this guy doesn't do that. He's more of a level-headed guy. So,
well, he's level-headed in this speech, but in his Hispanic speech, he's like, "Those leftists, assholes, they are shit. They're shit."
That's true. That's actually a good point.
He gets pretty nuts.
He was really, when he first was elected, he was very passionate, and for good reason, because he actually comes here and he starts just dropping truth bombs all over these people.
Yeah.
Right.
Remember, he's coming from Argentina as 150% inflation.
Right. So Argentina. So what he comes out, and I'll give you the initially the first thing he says. So he says, "I am here to tell you the Western world is facing a significant threat." Okay. It's what he comes out and says first. It's in danger because those who are supposed to defend the values of the Western world are co-opted by a worldview that inevitably leads to socialism and consequently to poverty and economic deprivation.
Right.
He basically says that the way the world is thinking right now is going to lead everybody to poverty. And he doesn't just come out and say it he actually backs it up with facts. And he talks about the fact that, look, it's happened in recent decades. It was motivated by some well-intentioned, desires from some people, but also some people who kind of like wanted to be part of this privileged caste,
right?
But they couldn't do it because they weren't capital, they couldn't make money, basically.
Right.
So all you can do is affect politics at that point. So he goes through here and he talks about something. I mean, if you want a lesson in like how capitalism works and why it's the best economic thing that we've ever found for our world. He goes and talks about that from year 0 to 1800. So from like, I guess when Christ to 1800 and
right. Yeah, year 0, guys.
He's like year 0. I went, what the fuck?
An incredible long time ago before technology worked, caveman style. That's what he meant.
He said from year 0 to 1800, GDP, which is like the global, basically how much money the globe has, basically,
right?
GDP was stagnant without any change. So from 0 to 1800, it essentially didn't move anywhere. It was about the same. Then when the Industrial Revolution happened and the adoption of capitalism in America, GDP doubled. Okay, the world's, not just America, the world wealth doubled from 1800 to 1900, 100 years. Then it doubled again in 66 years, from 1900 to 1966. Then it doubled again in 33 years, from 1966 to 2000. And then it doubled again in 23 years, from 2000 to 2023.
Jeez.
So what he's telling you is capitalism makes the world. And now what facts did he use to bring it here? He said in 1800, this is an interesting fact. In 1800, before all this started, 95% of the world's population lived in extreme poverty.
Right.
In 2020, just prior to COVID, only 5% of the world's population lived in extreme poverty.
Wow.
5%. That's what capitalism did for the world.
And then
not
after
for just America.
COVID, it was 55%.
well, we had a lot of problems with COVID. Some bad
Right.
shit happened. You know what I'm saying? So he came in here and he talked about, and it's not just, socialism. And he didn't use the term socialism a lot. He used collectivism, because what he's saying is that he sees the world is actually embracing this collectivism that leads to socialism, right? And so when you start punishing capitalists or people who capitalism, you end up in a socialist situation,
Right.
And which came to the demise of Argentina, right?
Right.
So
and Venezuela.
he's trying to warn everybody.
Right.
What did you think of his speech?
I thought it was eye-opening. Like, I knew a lot of this stuff, but I could never put it in words. And the way he broke it down was actually really incredible. I did not know about the world GDP doubling. I never knew that. I always assumed that, we started at the year 0 and slowly over time, we grew. I thought it was a gradual thing that we discovered technology. I know in the last few hundred years, that's been like the major, rush in technology and social programs and, just civilization. But I always assumed that there was some kind of gradual growth. I had no idea that for an incredible amount of time, the world was just stagnant. And then they introduced capitalism, the industrial age kicks off, and it just doubles, and here we are.
Making the whole world richer. I mean, America
Right.
may have started it, right? And it wasn't a completely new concept to America either. Capitalism was in little pockets, had been done previously.
Right.
But the free market is, and basically talks about things like, look, if you make a superior product at a lower price, then people are going to buy your product. People are going to, no matter what it is, if you make shoes and you make a better shoe at a lower price, they're going to buy your shoe, and when the government comes in, so what happens is because the left, and he's talking about the left being, and the reason why we associate with the left, I'm sure there are some people on the left who like capitalism. I'm certain, but for the most, the left embraces a more socialistic collective idea for economies. And it
doesn't help that that's being taught in like every university, that capitalism is bad, socialism is good, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. So because the left couldn't fight against the facts of capitalism, because these are facts, these are not, they can't fight against the facts. So then they said, well, let's fight against the morals of capitalism, saying it's unjust.
Right.
Right. Capitalism is bad because it's individualistic, and collectivism is good because it's altruistic towards others. Right. So they strive for social justice because that's the only battle they have to fight. Otherwise, they just lose to capitalism.
Right. Yeah. And then they might, there is a point there to be made. Like, so I'm a capitalist. I think a hybrid version of capitalism and a little bit of socialism mixed in is what makes a perfect system.
I mean, that's what America is.
Or a close to, or a good system, I should say. Yeah. But there is flaws with capitalism when it's not regulated. And if the reason why regulation is required to a degree is to foster the free market. You can't allow 3 companies to own every single news station or one
Right.
company to own all the shipping routes, because that goes from capitalism. That becomes something completely different, because capitalism relies on the free market. And if you completely bypass the free market because there is no regulation, then it's no longer capitalism, and now it's boot on your neckism, whatever that is called. Which, by the way, we're not doing a great job of, because Amazon pretty much owns everything. So
well, right. And so let's talk about it in a second. Let's finish up what he has to say here, because I think he says something that everybody's going to really, really respond to. He says things like free countries are 12 times richer than repressed countries. 12 times.
wow.
Okay. The world is a freer, richer, and more peaceful place than it has ever been before. Fact, even though we have wars and things going on, it is still more than it ever has before. Citizens of free countries live 25% longer than citizens of repressed countries.
Interesting.
Okay. He says in his closing monologue here, he says, don't be intimidated by the political caste or the parasites who live off the state. Don't yield to a political class that only wants to prolong its power and preserve its privileges.
Ooh.
If you earn money because you provide a superior product at a better price. The state is not the solution. The state is the problem. And you have an ally in Argentina.
Wow. That's powerful
Which was
stuff.
pretty powerful speech.
That's real powerful. You know what's interesting? Frodo here says in the chat, "A rising tide raises all ships." Yeah, I agree. You know, like America might have kicked it off or adopted that wholesale government type, but the entire world, the majority of the world adopting that type. Look at Iran in the 1960s. Someone in the chat said North Korea. You know, at one point, North Korea and Iran were not ran, no pun intended, were not ran as the government types they are now. They were ran in a more Western style. And I'm saying Western because that's wholeheartedly Western countries have adopted this form of capitalism. And they were better off for it. When fascism, dictatorship, communism, religious zealots, when these things took over those nations, they went from, and you can look up pictures of Iran in the 1960s. It's a completely different place. They went from a thriving, budding economy, a country you wanted to visit, a country you wanted to live in, to a country that is just completely stifled. And I know socialism and communism are not the same thing, but I gotta tell you, because of human greed, often socialism turns into communism. And a lot of people try to look at Sweden and go, well, Sweden is socialist and they're doing great. Well, no, they're also a hybrid. They're not pure socialists. Right.
And it's smaller. It's a smaller,
much smaller,
just like Argentina. And that's part of the thing is, like, I really appreciate what he's saying, because ideally he's right. Like on a very basic small system, capitalism it works, but you're always going to have some losers. Like, you're going to have winners and losers. Anytime you have competition, what is competition? People win and people lose. Right. And so the problem is, and the reason why you have this collectivism or this socialism is because they want it so that nobody loses. But the problem is that human beings, the human condition, there have to be winners and losers, because you have greed and you do have empathy, but people are living their own stories. They're living their own lives, and they're ultimately, striving for their own wins. And so you're going to have some people who win, aka Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, and you're going to have somebody who loses, Joe Doe from down the street, who just could never make anything work. And you have those people who are going to, hate the people that are making all the money because they didn't. But that's part of the capital. And even though you're going to have some losers, overall, like was said, all the boats are rising. So, it's nenever going to be a perfect
I feel
system.
like most people know that in their heart, Shane. Like, remember when we were kids?
Well, yeah, but you don't want to be the loser.
Right. I know, of course. But remember when we were kids, they'd be like, you can be anything, Billy. You can be, a president of the United States. You can be an astronaut. And I remember, like, in my heart, even as a child, thinking, I guess they could.
Mm-hmm.
But the percentage of these kids that will ever do that is like, in the 0.1%. There is, I'm sorry to say, but some people And yes, and there's something to be said about being born with more resources and all that for
There
sure.
are, yeah.
But
yep.
when
Some
you
people get a leg up.
yeah, absolutely. Some people are born with a better set of cards. But if you like strip all that away and just look at the person, there are people that are, born smarter, born more attractive, have a little more luck as they go, and like completely strip out like the born with it mentality. That's part of life. And for the people that are not born with a great deck, that require support, that's completely fine. And I think that's great. But it can't supersede the free market. It can't supersede that, because once it does, it goes from you can jump your class. Let's say you're born in extreme poverty, in the dirt, in a capitalist hybrid system. You can jump that class with enough hard work, determination, with enough smarts.
Ideas. Yeah.
You can jump your classes. You can get to the next class. You can come out of the dirt. You can be better than what your parents, grandparents, et cetera, were. But in a socialist environment or a communist environment with collectivism, like he was saying, you can't. You can't. Right. So you can't cross out of whatever you were born with.
Right.
I would argue that's not fair.
Well, because the government's creating a system where the bureaucrats are the people in power and everybody else is just getting enough to survive. And this is kind of what he's talking about here, like living off of, what did he call it? He said, don't be intimidated by the political caste or the parasites who live off the state. This is something that's happened with the oligarchy in Russia. You essentially have a dictator in Putin,
Venezuela,
and you have a bunch of oligarchs who okay. So in our country, for example, in America, what the government should do, the government should set the playing field, right? So the idea should be that everybody should have an equal opportunity to succeed, right? So the stage should be set. Like, I hear what he's saying, but the reality is the Amazons and the Googles and some of these big companies have been, laws have been created that have allowed them to completely destroy and not allow anybody to be able to compete with them.
Right. And we talked about that 2 weeks ago with the Mickey Mouse thing, how the fact that Disney has literally lobbied Congress, lobbied the government to change laws for trademark laws to allow them to keep this, art. And this is a small example, but the fact that a company can go and have laws changed that specifically and only benefit them is crazy to me.
Well, yeah, but that's the whole problem with the system. So capitalism in itself works. You're going to have winners and losers, but you also want to have enough of a socialistic element to your society so that the people who either aren't capable or, because you're going to have, in order to have a society that works, you are going to have to take care of the people who can't do it. Now, there's a difference between people who can't do it and people who don't want to do it. And that's a big difference. But in our society, we've created this element where the industry, tycoons of industry, were able to influence political to help benefit them more. This happened at the turn of the 1900s. This is happening today where, and the one thing that we had going for us as a nation is that our news media was transparent.
Right.
So the news media would tell the truth. Well, this tycoon is doing that, as much as it could, because the tycoons were trying to buy all the newspapers too.
Right.
But you had this element in the 1900s where you had some sort of, truth in media. And so now, because the media has gotten in bed with the narrative of the left, now there is no visibility. And as we can see, like he's saying here, freedom is falling by the wayside. Everybody, Canada is less free. America's trying to, they're attacking the First Amendment. The UK, say something wrong over there and find yourself in jail.
Oh yeah, good luck.
So
yeah, like that Count Ducula guy,
attack.
His dog was giving the Hitler salute, and he thought it was funny. The guy ended up getting a jail sentence.
Yeah, it's crazy. So capitalism represents freedom, and so it's not a perfect system. But what he's saying here is, what's great about this whole thing, and the whole point of this is that he went into the lion's den. And he spoke his mind, and the world needed to hear it. So hopefully more people realize that freedom is more important than collectivism. And there's going to be winners and losers, and we just have to deal with that as human beings.
I agree. And to end this topic, I do want to show a parody of this that I thought was really funny.
Let's see it.
Here we go.
And I appreciate the World Economic Forum providing me the opportunity to be on this stage and say, fuck you, Klaus Schwab, and fuck your New World Order. We, the people, were born free. We will stay free. And you and all of your globalist friends, including everyone in this room, can go fuck yourself.
Pretty good. There was another one too. One where he's got
the follow up. He did a follow up thing where he shows up. He has like a black eye. I love this. This is like the next day, and he goes.
And so yesterday I stood on this stage and said some things that I should not have said. But we all deserve a second chance. So I would like to apologize to absolutely no one. None of you were elected to show us how we should live our lives. All of you motherfuckers took your private jets to show up to this meeting, so don't lecture us about the environment. I ain't eating bugs. You can eat these nuts. And once again, you and your fake climate agenda can go fuck.
Do we know?
His name is Rishav on Twitter, @Rishav. Go check him out. I thought it was funny. He's like, I would like to apologize to no one.
They've already beat him up. You know?
No one elected you to tell us how to live our lives. That's great.
It's hilarious, man. Yeah. More freedom. That's what we need.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. I completely agree with that. Okay, so let's do some super chats here before we go into the next topic.
All right.
Let me get to the top of these things. By the way, thank you guys for the super chats. There is a little bit of a new system here today. When we get to the members section, instead of actually going to a members section, we're going to be testing something out. We're going to be just swapping the stream to members in real time, and there's going to be like a screen that tells you it's happening, and hopefully it works. I really tried to test it in real time, but in order to do that, I had to be streaming live. So you guys are gonna get that test. If you want to become a member, please hit that join button below, because we will be going another hour after today's show in the members section. This is from Joran Falth, and I'm saying his name right. Thank God.
Nice. Good job, dude. You got it.
It's Friday. Gotta get down on Friday. Looking forward to the weekend. Friday. I gotta see the whole thing. Friday.
He sing it.
Getting down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend. You know what's funny? I played this for my kid this morning.
Did you really?
Yeah. I have twins, and the younger of the twins, her name is Lana, and she just freaking hates school. She hates it.
Yeah.
And every morning she wakes up saying, what day is it? What day is it? When's the end of the week? Finally, it was Friday today, and she was still waking up crying, and I was like, hey, hold up. And I was like, Google, play that track. And it was like, it's Friday. And her eyes immediately lit up, dude. I played the whole thing, danced around for her. She loved it. That's why it's funny. Like, the only reason I can even sing that song right now is because I played it 3 hours ago.
Oh, all right.
Another from Johan Fold, this time for 50 sec. Socialism, it boils down to everyone should have it equals bad except the ruling elite.
Yeah.
Have it equally bad. Yeah, that's a good point, because here's why. Look, socialism is a great concept, like on paper, right?
Yeah.
You, in a book, go, read Marxism, read about it. It's a great idea on paper. Everyone succeeds regardless of their social standing, their work ethic, whatever, right? But the second you introduce people to the equation, corruptible people, socialism always fails or becomes communism, unless you're talking about some countries that have adopted a hybrid system, and those are very small countries.
Well, what happens when you don't have competition? There's no desire to succeed. If the government is just, if all you can get is what the government gives you, what's the point of trying? What's the point of trying to break out? There's a great movie. If you guys saw Tetris, it's on Apple. I feel like the Apple spokesperson, even though I hate Apple products, but the movie Tetris, right, is a great example. The guy who invented Tetris, like, he invented this really cool game that the entire world loved.
Right.
But it would have never got out of Russia. It would have never even got out of his damn office.
Right.
Right. Because the guy was like, what? Mother Russia, here it is. He didn't have any desire to be this, to make the world a better place. And arguably, I don't know if Tetris made the world a better place, but he would have cut out a place in the world for himself. I mean, it just shows you that socialism and communism and stuff just completely degrade any sort of growth. And it's a type of tyranny. It really is. It's a tyranny by a ruling class that has everything, and then people have nothing. I think that's where this country's heading. I'm telling you right now.
I agree with you. But I do think Tetris made the world a better place because it gave our stepmom something to do when she was super bored, and which means that she didn't yell at me during the day. So it was a better place for me. Yes, I apologize. The name is RISHAVH_016.
Or I guess we could put a link to that
on X/Twitter. I'll put a link in the description after this too. We also got a sticker from Frodo Lives. Thank you, Frodo, for your support, my friend. You're an amazing person.
Frodo lived.
Yeah, again, guys, we really appreciate all the support. I'm not trying to be a socialist here, but we appreciate it.
Thank you for supporting us.
Yeah. So next up, your first super chat, Frodo. Welcome, my friend. That's why it has number 1 next to it. I see that now.
Oh, that's cool.
All right. Next up, we are talking about, and I know you guys, I know a lot of you guys want to talk about this. We're going to talk about it. We're talking about Seth MacFarlane and his positive update on the status of the Orville season 4. And this is actually a hard one because, like, all right, how do we explain this, Shane?
Well, it says it all here. During the recent interview with Logically Speaking, MacFarlane provides a short but sweet update regarding the Orville season 4.
Yeah,
we're working on it.
We're working on it.
Let me tell you guys something here. I love the Orville. I love Seth. I love everybody involved in that project who was working on it. Let me tell you what Seth MacFarlane is not doing. He's not working on the Orville.
He's not working on the Orville.
He's not working on the Orville.
That doesn't mean there won't be an Orville season 4. Or a movie
or something.
Or a movie, yeah. That can totally happen. But right now, Seth is not actually working on the Orville season 4.
The reason he's not saying is that he doesn't want people to lose interest in it. So, but the reality, instead of saying, look, we can't do it right now. We don't have the money. We don't have the resources. So, the Orville is on the shelf for now. And hopefully someday when we have the resources and the ability and all the other stuff and the desire, we'll bring it back out. Like, that's the reality of what the Orville is. Yeah. But he doesn't do that. Every time he's asked about it, he's like, we want to do it. We're working on it. Yeah. He's it's like when you're dating a girl, right? And you're like, yeah, babe, we're good. Yeah, I love you, babe. But you don't really mean it. Like, you're just trying to keep her there.
But you're swiping on Tinder on the way home.
With Ted and all the other projects he's got
going on. With Ted, some orchestra thing.
Which is fine. He can do those
completely
things.
Fine.
To do the Orville.
There is no Orville, though. You have to remember this. There is no Orville without Seth MacFarlane. So if Seth MacFarlane is actively working on something else, then he's not working on this. And he owns it. He can take it whatever he wants. But, Hulu didn't, renew it. It's an expensive show. And he now has an exclusive deal with Peacock, which means that if Orville season 4 did happen while his contract with Peacock was still active, it would happen at Peacock. It wouldn't happen on Hulu.
Right. That's a good point. And Peacock, I can promise you, is in no financial position to pay for that show.
Right. Yes. They're not in the financial position to pay for it. But also, what about the current contract he has with Orville on Fox/Hulu? They have like, if he has an exclusive deal with Peacock to work with them, then in order to do the Orville, they would have to sign up for it, but he would also have to, deal with the potential issues with their distribution rights at Hulu right now. And who knows when that ends. And we're not saying it's not going to happen, but what we're saying, when he says, like, we're working on it, we're cautiously optimistic, blah, 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 he just doesn't want to tell you what's actually happening. What's actually happening is half the cast is acting somewhere else right now.
Most of some are on TED.
Some are on TED.
Yeah.
And he is working on multiple projects for Peacock that aren't the Orville.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the Orville takes like a huge amount of his resources. Like he is, it doesn't work without him because it's like his thing. I mean, could he train somebody else to do it, or he probably could, but the reality is the Orville's his baby, so he's not going to just hand it over to somebody else to keep it going.
Of course not.
And so until you see, like, I would say if you want to look forward to something on the Orville, I would say when you see Ted finish his run and you see his projects are kind of petering out a little bit, then that's when you'll see a surge of, well, maybe we should pull the Orville out of dry dock again and do something else with that. You're not going to see it until that. And that's probably going to be, I would guess, 3 to 4 years minimum.
Yeah. Omega says in the chat here, it says, is his contract with Peacock exclusive? I don't think he is, or he couldn't work on Family Guy. Well, I think Family Guy, and I don't know if it's exclusive. I remember reading.
I don't think it's exclusive.
I remember reading somewhere that he has a deal where he has to do like multiple shows with them.
Yeah, he's got a deal to do, a huge deal.
Yeah. So, but he has to fulfill that though to get paid. But he also Family Guy also has like that's a separate deal he has with Fox or Hulu, whatever. And he's able to, and that's a long deal. Like they renewed it for a long time. So even if he signed a deal with someone else, I think he's still doing Family Guy for a long time.
And he's doing very little Family Guy. He's got a guy that basically runs the whole show for him, and he comes in and does some voices. Right. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. When we went to the Orville set, damn, that set was gorgeous. I mean, it was big and beautiful. And the fact that set is no longer there is like, whenever someone talks about another season of Orville, in my mind, I'm like, not only does Peacock guys, we went to the set. They built the ship. It was beautiful and big and very expensive. In order to do another season of Orville, not only do you have to get Peacock or someone to sign up for it, to foot the bill, he has to get the time to do it. And they're going to have to rebuild sets, like massive, huge, expensive sets.
Well, that's one of the benefits of being there and us seeing it is seeing how complicated it was, seeing what they built. I mean, it took so much time to put together that set. I have a hard time believing that once they tore it down, that it's not something they can just go put it all back up. It's not something that can quickly happen. It's going to have to be like, what's the plan? Like, are we going to do some movies? Are we going to do a season 4? If we're going to do a season 4, we're going to do season 5 because you don't want to do it for just one season. Right. So there's going to have to be a whole.
It would have to be more than one season.
Look at the Orville as like a stone that they got rolling. Right. And that stone rolled and it was cruising for a little while. And now it's slowed down and stopped. It's going to take so much energy to get it rolling again that they have to figure out if it's worth their bang for their buck. And while everybody wants to talk, whether it's Tom Constantino or whether it's Seth or all these people, they will continue to speak positively about it. The real people you want to listen to is like Adrian Palicki and some of the other people who have moved on that are just like, well, we want to do it, but they're telling the truth, which is nothing's happening.
Right. Yeah. I remember looking at that set and thinking like, I actually thought, well, they're going to have to do a season 4. I'm like, look at this set.
There's a whole lot that, besides the cost, you got Seth hated Fox. Hated. I mean, he got such Trump derangement syndrome during everything that was happening with COVID and all that. He really, really did. And he had this just absolute putrid hatred for Fox. And I think that played into part of it. He didn't want to be on that lot anymore.
Right.
And I think that was part of his Peacock deal. And I think that, the Orville didn't make as much money as it should have. It's expensive, blah, blah, blah. So.
And it wasn't just the set. Like when we went there, it was that giant, huge, massive hangar bay with the literal ship built inside and all the shuttles and all the greens, all the sound stages and all that. But then they also had a massive building with offices. Like it's not a small portion of Fox that you'd be working on. It's a large portion of
right.
It's a large building and a large hangar bay and a massive set. It was a big deal. I was actually shocked at how big it was.
Yeah, it was big, and the fact that Seth came out of pocket for season 3. Now, it's not a lot of people don't know this, but he spent a lot of his own money on getting season 3 done because it was so expensive, and he's just not willing to pay for it again. And I don't blame him. He did his thing. He did his Star Trek, which is what he wanted to do, and he's not going to keep coming out of pocket to get it done. And neither Disney nor Fox want to spend the money to do it. So,
yeah,
I don't know. High quality projects, great graphics, great team of creators, but the Orville, there's so many things going against it for it to be able to come back. It's just tough.
Yeah, and it's a bad time right now. It's a bad time.
There's no money.
People don't want to spend money on these big projects. That if they're going to do a project, they want projects that are affordable. Gone are the days where streaming service, you're just like, hey, here's $1 billion, make me this, make me Rings of Power or whatever it was. It's just not the case anymore. Like the streaming services are being very careful now with their money because, that's what happens when you report losses for 3 years straight.
True.
Yeah.
All but Amazon, who seems to still be able to do whatever they want. But
right.
They have a whole e-commerce system backing up their play. So
that's true. All right. Well, either way, if when we get more information, whether it's public or we get it from Tom, whatever, and we're allowed to talk about it, we will. And we will always give you the real skinny. And we hope it does come back. But I think now this article is just
to come back.
It's just
there's a whole universe there to explore, Brian.
Right.
There's a whole universe. There's races. I mean, how often do you get in a franchise set up with a whole new universe to explore with people? It really deserves to be. I hope people write novels, and I know we've got some comic books and stuff like that, but
yeah, it's a fresh franchise. It's not like it's
right.
80 years old. Like we don't have to mine old stuff. Like we can go forward in a fresh. It's a really cool. I hope it comes back, but we'll see.
I do too.
Okay, moving on, man. If you notice, I put something on the thumbnail. I thought, is it unique? Usually we talk about. The business of entertainment, TV shows, movies. Sometimes we cover something like this in the zeitgeist, like this thing with Davos. But there was something I came across that is super interesting. And it's not even new news, but it's so interesting that I really wanted to bring it up. And it's not something we normally do, but we need to talk about it. Shane, have you heard of Atlantis?
The TV show or the place?
Have you heard of Atlantis, the place, the sunken city?
Yes, the legend of Atlantis.
The legend of Atlantis. Plato talked about it, right?
Oh yeah, the Richot structure in Africa and all that stuff. Yeah, I've heard it.
Yeah.
I lived in Italy. Yeah,
that's awesome. Okay, so did you know that there was a metal that was or an alloy? I should say metal alloy, whatever. Specific to Atlantis called orichalcum.
I actually did not know that.
And see, I didn't either.
That was interesting.
Look, we know Jimmy. We've watched all the Atlantis things.
Bright Insight stuff.
Yeah, we've seen all the Bright Insights. We've seen all the ancient aliens and all the History Channel stuff about Atlantis. We are fascinated with this. I remember reading a book when I was a kid called Indiana Jones and the Lost City of Atlantis. Of course, and thinking this would be the coolest possible movie ever made. And then they went and made Dial of Destiny and ruined my childhood. But look, after all the stuff I've heard about Atlantis, all the stuff Jimmy has said, Bright Insight, History Channel, every YouTube video, Joe Rogan, everyone that's ever talked about this, I have never heard of this. Orichalcum. I'm probably not saying that right. I should probably hit this pronunciation thing.
You sent me a link to that, but I don't know. It's not. Did you delete it?
No. I'll give you a link again. I'm going to pronounce this. I'm not saying it right. Here we go. No.
Orichalcum.
Orichalcum.
Okay.
Okay, it's called orichalcum. Yeah, I'll send you a link right now. And it's funny because this article is actually old. It's not. I mean, it's not. So it's like 3 or 4 years old. But I didn't hear about it until literally yesterday. And this orichalcum, is they say it's the lost metal of Atlantis, and they finally may have found a healthy amount of this stuff in a shipwreck off of Sicily.
The problem is I don't think they know for certain that it's the orichalcum that they talked about. Like, it's definitely a metal alloy that they haven't seen before.
Right. Yes, it's an alloy so these are ignants. An ignant is when, it's being cast. So they create the alloy and they create these ignants, like gold bars, whatever. It's pieces of metal that were specifically cast for use in making things, right?
Yeah, it's a cast metal like bronze.
Right.
So it takes multiple different types of metals to create.
Right. So this orichalcum, this is what the article says. Orichalcum, the lost metal of Atlantis, may have been found in a shipwreck off of Sicily. A group of naval archaeologists has uncovered 200 ignants, which is a lot, spread over the sandy seafloor near a 2,600-year-old shipwreck. Timing sort of works out. Off the coast of Sicily. The ignants were made of orichalcum, a rare cast metal that the ancient Greek philosopher Plato wrote was from the legendary city of Atlantis.
What's weird is I was stationed there and in the waters off the coast of Sicily a lot, so I'm sure we sailed over that.
I know this is why this article is perfect. I'm like, I know, I really wanted to get your take on this too. Let me add this last piece, then I want to hear what you think about this. A total of 39 ignants, metal set in rectangular blocks, were, according to Inquisitor, discovered near a shipwreck. BBC reported that another same metal cache was found. 47 ignants were found, with a total of 86 metal pieces found to date. The wreck was discovered in 1988, floating about 300 meters, 1,000 feet off the coast. So they've now found 2 caches of this very specific metal that Plato mentioned. And it's all been off the coast of Sicily. So think about this real quick. Scientists believe that the pieces of orichalcum were destined for those laboratories when the ship sank. So, so Plato talked about orichalcum. How do we know that this orichalcum and the orichalcum that Plato was talking about is the same alloy?
Well, that's what's interesting about it. So I don't think that they know that it's the same thing, and I don't even think that they know that it's necessarily orichalcum in the sense that he was talking about it, because orichalcum used to be known in Greece. In Greek, it was actually a name for platinum, which is something that, of course, we know well. Right. And it's basically a high quality brass. It's an alloy of copper and zinc kind of mixed together. Right. But I guess this alloy is pretty unique, the one that they found.
Yeah, like apparently it's 75 or 80% copper, 20% zinc, and a scattering of nickel, lead, and iron, which had made me think maybe that scattering is just off cast. Like, you know, it's not actually part of the alloy.
Yeah, so I mean, it's hard to say. I was actually looking for. So Plato wrote about orichalcum in his book Critias. In the book, Plato says orichalcum was in the ground of the legendary island of Atlantis. Okay, to the Atlanteans, it was the second most valuable metal after gold. Plato says the Atlanteans put orichalcum on their city walls and temples. Plato called orichalcum only a name. In his own time, meaning he did not think he had ever seen orichalcum. So that's interesting, actually, because if it was in the ground, then it would be a completely different metal. So, what they're talking about is two metals that have been mixed together by human beings.
Right.
So he's talking about it as being something that in the ground of the legendary island of Atlantis, which leads me to believe that sounds very.
Maybe he's talking about copper, because it says. The name orichalcum derives from the Greek word orichalcos, or whatever, literally meaning mountain copper or copper mountain.
Yeah, so maybe copper. But what's interesting is of course, there's been lots of places that Atlantis could have been. If Atlantis existed, there's lots of places around the world where they think it could. Most likely, from the sources that I've, Randall Carlson and some of these other folks, it actually would have taken place right outside the pillars of Atlas, basically where the Portugal, right off the coast of Portugal, is where Atlantis would be. So they would have been sailing into and around the Mediterranean, including Sicily, which
adds up. So like they could have been sailing to the port of Atlantis when it sank or whatever.
Yeah, a lot of people believe that if Atlantis was real, that the descendants of Egypt actually came from Atlantis.
Fascinating.
So it's interesting. I mean, there's so much stuff into it.
Considering the high amounts of copper in this alloy, another thing that interests me is Plato said, it was the second most valuable metal after gold, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which actually makes a lot of sense if you're living in a highly technological age. What is more conductive, gold than copper? Right?
Copper is,
yeah. Silver wouldn't be like we see silver as valuable, but in reality, silver doesn't actually have a whole lot of practical uses. Gold and copper are extremely conductive and highly resistant, especially gold. So like when it comes to like technology running, current through something, I can totally see this as being the second most valuable metal if practical use was the reason it would be valuable.
If we're talking about copper.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, but these ingots do have copper and zinc.
Right. It's brass. They're essentially brass.
Right.
High quality brass.
So zinc is used to stabilize copper so that it becomes more resilient to corrosion. So I don't know.
So it's possible that in the time of the Greeks that they didn't actually know metallic zinc, but perhaps the Atlanteans did. So that makes it interesting.
Right. Imagine that though. Imagine like, okay, so copper is, it corrodes easy. You add a little zinc to it and it becomes less corrosive.
Well said.
I mean, that would be a sign of being more technologically advanced than your surroundings. Just knowing that that particular, alloy makes a better copper that is still just as conductive.
Yeah. Proof that there's an Atlantis, that it was true? No. But very interesting.
And I knew you would like this story, bro. I knew it.
Good story. I like that one.
Yeah. Chubby says silver is used in everything. Yeah. No, silver is used in a lot of things, but it's not as practically. Honestly, copper is way more useful practically. Gold, if it wasn't so damn expensive, would be better than copper because gold is more conductive than copper. And I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. I'm saying I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive. Probably not. All right. Yeah, I'm right. Gold is more conductive than copper. Yeah, that's why processors like CPUs. A cool way of getting rich nowadays is going to the dumps, finding a bunch of computers that people threw away, and stripping the CPUs and capacitors for their remaining gold.
Nice.
All right, moving on from that. Fun story, right?
Yeah, I like Archmage Frey's comment here. I think Atlantis is currently off the coast of San Francisco.
Yeah, 100% Atlantis is off the coast of San Francisco right now. And the gate sank to the bottom of the bay, and it's actually being activated in real time.
Love it.
I can't wait until we get some Stargate news, man. We know what's going to happen.
Do we have a weekly weird, or
we do? Yeah, you know what's next? The weekly weird.
What? Ooh, nice.
Where's my weekly weird thing? Where's it at? Where'd it go? Oh, it's on this side. Here we go.
Get ready, you fucking weirdos.
The door moves at the end. Let's like,
Today we're talking about furries. Shane, can I ask you a question?
It's so well, Brian, with the story.
Do you know what a furry is?
I have recently, well, depends. I know what a furry used to mean. My kids think it means something completely different.
So Shane, in
Furry is people
2024,
like to have sex with animals, right?
well, a furry is someone who likes to dress. They don't necessarily have sex with animals. What they'll say is, "I like to dress up in these animal costumes," and it's not sexual. But in reality, just look. I just Googled furries. That's it. I didn't Google nude furries, sexy furries, NSFW furries. I just Googled the word furries. And do you notice what's up here? Every one of these photos is
Speed date furries.
highly sexualized. There's literally it's a furry dating service. So here's the deal. You can say all you want that the whole furry thing is not a fetish, it's not sexualized. That is just, tell it to your parents when they catch you in a costume. In reality, the majority of that community is sexualized. So the thing about this is what makes it weird. This is what makes it weird. It's not weird. The whole concept of furries by themselves is weird. Just to be clear. Grown adults going to furry conventions dressed up as mascots and having sex in bathrooms is very weird. But I'm not judging. If that's your kink, do your thing. But what makes it really weird is this just happened. Students dressed as furries could be collected by animal control if new Oklahoma bill passes.
What the hell?
I really need to let that sink in. If there was a weekly weird to end all weekly weirds, this would be it.
Well, yeah.
I'm going to read the headline one more time. Students dressed as furries could be collected by animal control if new Oklahoma bill passes.
Representative Justin Humphreys of Oklahoma. Apparently, children who act like dogs and cats during school hours could be punished by animal control. Yes, parents might soon have to collect their erstwhile kids from the pound.
If Representative Justin Humphreys' bill makes it to the finish line as it stands today, that is, of course, if kids acting like animals at school is really that widespread of a problem, which is up for debate. Humphreys' bill, which was filed Wednesday, seeks to put in place a law whereby students who purport to be imaginary animal or animal species or engage in anthropomorphic behavior.
It's fucking stupid, man. It's just so stupid. What have we become as a society when this is something our children do?
Commonly known as furries at school shall not be allowed to participate in school. So let's be clear. There are two sides of this. There are people that say, and I want you to know, this is how much I love you guys. I had to research this. And the whole time I'm
blame it on our fans.
My eyes are rolling so far back into my head I almost passed out from the pure cringe on both sides of this. First off, one side is saying that no one is dressing up like cats or dogs or whatever at school. The other side is saying that it's so widespread it's a problem. We need to pass laws against it. Both sides are totally wrong. There is 100% a thing going on, a trend of kids dressing up as cats or dogs. They'll put the ears on, they put the tail on, they make the noises, mew, 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 whatever. And it's very disruptive in school because teachers have to deal with these kids that won't speak to them in English. But it's not so widespread that it requires a bill. You know what it requires, Shane?
Parent strong hand.
About parents, thank you. This does not require the use of laws. This requires a parent to do their job and tell their kid to speak English or whatever language that their native language is and stop dressing up as animals in school.
Yeah, the Oklahoma representative says his bill is a bit sarcastic, but he's making a point.
Right.
So go ahead.
Well, the thing is, here's the here's the most ridiculous part of this. It's actually they're connecting the furry movement now to the alphabet movement.
The fuck? What?
And they're saying if a kid in school is identifying as this furry, then that's their prerogative. They can identify as whatever they want.
One person said this, two people.
No. They're trying to connect the furry movement to the alphabet movement.
Who's they?
Multiple left-wing pundits, influencers, etc., etc. The same people that say there are like 169 genders, and you could be gender fluid, which I'm not sure if you know this, but you know what gender fluid means?
I guess you can switch between them.
That means literally from minute to minute you can change your gender on a whim. These are the same people that's saying, why can't they identify as it? If that makes them happy to identify as a cat or a dog or whatever, then you have to call them Pickles or Snuffles or whatever. This is insanity. Let's get it clear. This is insanity.
Just because something makes you happy doesn't mean you should be able to do it.
No.
And we live in a world where people are so spoiled and entitled that they feel like the ultimate thing that their ultimate entitlement is that they get to be happy no matter what. No, people still have to follow rules. There still has to be discourse. There still has to be a social norm. Ridiculous.
Now, here's the deal. That said, I do not believe it is so widespread that it requires laws to be passed. I just think that parents need to step up in dealing with this. And I also believe that whatever the current, I don't know, I don't have another word for this, but like the current, this might not be malicious, but the current grooming of kids when you are teaching kids something that their parents is not necessarily agreeing with, and telling them on social media and whatever that they could be whatever they want and do whatever they want and whatever makes you happy, etc., etc. This is the result of that, because kids can't make decisions on their own. If they can't pick their bedtime, they can't pick anything else, and they shouldn't be being influenced by people that are not their parents, who believe in insanity. So it's not as widespread that it requires a bill, for sure, but it is, I can see it becoming a problem, like a lot of other things have become problems.
You just suspend them. If the kid won't, come to school and speak in the language that the classroom speaks because they're acting out, that's exactly what it is. They're acting out. Then you send their asses home. Let the parents deal with them.
Yeah, Humphrey says... Yeah, homeschool, good luck. Humphrey says he's heard reports of such instances, but did not cite a specific incident. Why are we going to bring a litter box and put it in a room? Are they allowing these kids to actually use litter boxes?
I mean,
are they being artistic, or is it a mental illness?
See, I've heard this. I don't know, and this is the thing. I don't know Justin Humphrey or what his situation is. I don't know if he's just trying to get attention. A lot of these politicians sometimes are just trying to get attention. The fact that this is on Rolling Stone is weird. It's such a weird story. I don't know. It's hard to tell these days. Politicians are weird. Kids are weird. News media is weird. So it all rolls into weird stories. So
you're right. Now, what I did was I wanted to see how, prolific or whatever it was in schools. And I gotta say, there are a lot of pictures of furries in high schools on the internet. And I don't know
which kid wearing cat ears, do we consider that really a problem?
No.
Like, one of those bandana things with ears on them, right?
No, it's not. No, I don't think that's the issue. This kind of stuff. Like high schoolers literally wearing entire costumes. And
that all you have to do is just say costumes are not allowed.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, it's a school. This is a school district problem. You just simply, or you have a day, like let everybody dress up or whatever. Fuck. I mean, Halloween does exist, there is a day when kids can dress up and go to school, and, you just have to have some rules, as a school. You need to set the requirements and then hold the kids accountable, period. And if parents don't like it, then, just say, fine, don't send them to my school.
By the way, I'm positive I'm on some FBI watch list now for typing in like, school
Well,
child.
now I just typed it in. I needed to see
I was trying to save you the trouble, bro.
I know, but I can't see him.
Yeah. So that's it. I think it's crazy. Yeah. I don't, like it's easy to say, hey, you know what? Just ban costumes and parents, get your shit together. But it's easy to say that, but it's not often done. And if people do succeed in sort of turning the narrative from this is crazy to, this makes them happy, then I can totally see this as becoming like an actual problem, because a lot of parents are cowards, man, and they don't want to stand up to their kids doing crazy stuff, and it'll definitely disrupt schools, like actual school classrooms. And we see that already. Like, to completely take furries out of the picture. We see a teacher trying to asking a student for their phone because they're literally on a phone call in the class, and the student gets up, cusses the teacher out, punches him in the face, and then walks away. That we're seeing that right now. There's video of it all over the internet. This is a very common thing where kids just have absolutely zero respect for their teachers.
Not cool.
Yeah. Hey, so that is the Weekly Weird. I think that was
parents do your jobs.
As weekly weird as it gets, by the way. I love the way Rolling Stone finishes the article. Although some furries are indeed into the lifestyle as a sort of sexual kink, that's not the case for most. Sure, bud.
Then why are you doing it? It's attention. That's what it is. Kids who want attention. That's all it is. Right. Hey, parents, give your kids attention at home.
Okay, guys, that's it. We are going to the members section. Like I said, we're testing out a new thing here. What am I going to do? Oh, actually, the super chats before we go to the members section. I'm sorry. We got super chats here. Thank you, my friends, for your wonderful super chats. Here we go. Scrolling. Adam Leader for 10 pounds. Have you guys seen the video where Christopher Judge learns about furries? No, but we're about to. Sorry, I have to. I have to see that.
Real live time.
Yeah, Christopher Judge learns about furries. Okay. Oh my God, it came up automatically. Here we go.
Adam comes up with great stuff.
Yeah, good job, Adam.
No, furries.
If that, like,
Children and children.
Do we have a furry rep here? Give us a tutorial.
what is that?
People in furry suits.
Tell you later.
You guys like, do we have a furry rep here?
Damn, man.
They dress up like
Look at
animals.
Christopher Judge is like, what is that?
They dress up like animals?
They dress up like
so
animals.
outlandishly weird and wild. But of course it is.
Leave it to die on the floor.
That's great. I'll put that link in the description. Thank you, Adam. That was
Thanks, Adam.
top tier. He's like, what is that? What do you mean they dress up like animals?
We all thought the same thing, Christopher.
I gotta say, Christopher Judge has such a great voice. I saw a trailer for God of War where he does the voice, and oh man, his voice is incredible.
He does have a great voice.
I just want to listen to him read a book. Yoran Fouth again. Thank you, Yoran. He said if they stupidly remake reboot Stargate, they should cast Wyatt Russell as Jack.
That's a good idea. That's Kurt Russell's kid.
Yeah, you know what? I saw a theory recently.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's actually a good idea.
That's a great idea. And he actually looks like him too. And here's the deal. No, they're not going to reboot it, but there is a way to get a young version of Jack O'Neill on the show. Do you recall, Shane, that there is a Jack O'Neill clone floating around out there? And he was a child in the series.
You're right.
A Jack O'Neill child clone. There is no reason, canonically or otherwise, why we can't have a Lieutenant Jack O'Neill, but it's the clone version.
The only person who would do that would be Brad Wright. And since they're not bringing him back, then...
Yeah, but you know if Brad Wright was going to do it. You know if he was like that would be the first thing. And why not Wyatt Russell? Like, What a meta thing that would be too. Like getting the guy who originally played, to play the clone. That'd be perfection. I like.
I heard a story yesterday. Speaking of Stargate and Kurt Russell, that he was so angry on Stargate when he made Stargate. He was actually angry because he had such a shitty experience doing Tombstone, because he was so pissed off about how when they did Tombstone, his next movie was Stargate, and he was still pissed off while he was shooting Stargate. And that's why
it showed.
That's why Jack O'Neill's an ass, kind of.
It showed. It showed the whole time. Yeah. He was great in that role. I love that movie to death. That's why it's on my wall, man. No Money G for $10 just gave us $10. Just wanted to say hi.
Thanks, No Money G. Appreciate you, man.
You're boss, dude.
Means so much, man. We appreciate the support. It helps. Trust me.
Okay, so we are going to the members section, my friends. This is how it works. This is how it works. If you want to become a member, it's pretty simple. Hit the join button below to join us over there, and we're going to be testing something new. In a couple minutes here, you're going to see the screen go to a 1 minute screen where it's just basically directing everyone to the member section, and then this stream will then be converted from a public stream to a member stream in real time. And if it works out this way, this is the way we'll do it forever, instead of trying to swap streams and lose people in the process. You know what I mean?
I love it. Let's try it.
All right, listen, if you want to become a member. Be our hero and become a member. All right. So
that's it. That's the speech.
We're going to the member section. See you guys over there.
If not, we'll see you on.
Nothing is impossible. Just do it. Do it. Just do it. Yes, you can. Just do it.
So it's just going to take me over there, huh?
No, it didn't have to take you. It's already here. Like it is now a members only stream.
Okay, so oh yeah, you're right. It just kind of kept going,
and we just
dude, that worked great.
Did it though?
Well, I had it sitting over there on the regular stream, and now it just went members.
Right, and then my public thing zeroed out, so I have 0 viewers on the public side, and now we should probably start. We
should have told them the only way you can see this show is by being a member. If you didn't catch it live,
you're right. I forgot to say that. I did tweet that and I did put it in the community, but I forgot to say that live. You're right.
The only way you're going to see the show, like if you didn't show up for it live, you can't see it unless you're a member.
It worked. Yes, everyone's saying it's worked. Woo! No more double streams. This is how we do it from now on. Yeah?
So, yeah, I know. I agree. You did a wonderful job. So how do we, so on our clips, are we going to advertise the live show? How are we going to do this? So what are we going to have at the end? We got to have a thing where somebody.
Oh, you mean on the clips? Yeah. Did you see the last clip I put up, or the first clip I put up yesterday?
I did. It had some words, but I think we need talking. We need actual.
Oh yeah. Okay. I guess we'll have to record that or something then.
Yeah, because I think we got to have it because this show's happening. Now you're going to have a bunch of people going, they didn't do a show. Where's the show? Yeah, because I think we got to have it where it's members thing.
Yeah, what I like about this too is that, like Drew just sat here and he can see the chat history. Like we didn't lose anything. Like it just converted. You know,
that's cool.
And now
so we just got to let people know.
Now there is oh man, here we go. Now there's great thing about this is now there's less work I do for creating multiple streams. Less work for the viewer to have to try to move over to that stream,
find it,
or not get the notification or whatever, you know? Yeah.
Oh, all right, cool. Well, welcome everybody. What do we got here? We got Chappie, you're on Falth. Got August TV 123. Welcome.
Yes, and Archmage is saying it worked. His other account, which is not a member, is blocked. Cool. Perfect.
Nice. Archmage Frey, Drew D, Lord Thoth, Rec Thoughts, good to see you guys. Penny is here. No Money G. Drew D. Oh, yeah. This is great. Actually, yeah, you made it over. All right, cool. I like it. It's actually hard for me to even find the streams afterwards. So I'm like looking around trying to figure it out. So this is perfect. You did a great job, bro.
And a reason I'm trying to do it this way is because we're no longer going to have the archived video, right? Yeah. So when the stream ends, it's no longer going to be replayable for everyone. Only members are going to be able to see the stream. Like you can watch it live, or you can watch it replay if you're a member. But that's it. And the reason we're doing that was because we're going to start putting out daily clips. And you can't put a daily clip out with a 2-hour live stream. It'll like the algorithm doesn't like it.
Yeah. So we're trying this thing, guys, because we haven't been growing. We've actually still continued to be losing members, even going into January.
Negative 37 every month.
Subscribers. We keep just losing subscribers. We're not adding any. So we're trying this thing where we're going to still do our live show, but it won't be available. So that way the algorithm won't confuse it when we're doing clips. And hopefully clips will actually bring in new viewers. That'll be like, oh, this is cool. When is their live show? And then hopefully they'll watch that, become members, the whole thing. And we'll grow again. It should be great.
So No Money G was being a smart ass. The sticker had a little furry on it. I didn't see
did it
that
really?
until now.
Let me see. Let me look at it.
Yeah.
It does. It's got a little fucking animal on it.
That's great.
That's funny, dude.
That's great.
That whole furry thing is just weird.
Yeah, I'm really stoked that this worked because that means that it's just less work. It's easier for everyone, and we'll be able to do this members thing. Before it was gonna be like 2 streams, members on. It was confusing, man.
Yeah.
I always have Rec Thoughts on the Prime size. Looks like we passed through the gate successfully over here too. Well, you guys were always on that gate, but thank you. The Prime side, the Prime side is members the entire time, which is arguably why some people are like, I'm just gonna be a Prime member. So I don't got to move around. I can watch the replay whenever. I don't have to find extra stuff,
That's true.
All right, man.
Yeah. So
I got some more weird stuff to talk about if you're down.
Or just, what is it? Yeah. I mean, I'm down, but let's see what anybody else has to talk about over here.
Sure.
Since we're in our member section. Sucks to be a non-member. Ha ha ha. He's like, yeah. You're on fault is stroking my member. Okay, nice. I won't do that, but you can all you want.
What'd you think I was thinking about that little member screen? That was pretty cool, right? Do it!
I couldn't hear none of it. I got to go back.
Oh, you couldn't? Yeah, it was great.
I lost subscribers the minute I made a video reading about the WGADEI letter. Yeah, you can't make everybody happy all the time, man. You just got to go with truth, your truth, or whatever, the truth. Go with it,
Yeah.
Shane, are you still into the football season? Still rooting for my Packers?
Your truth.
Or against the Bills, or what? Yeah, man. The cool thing about the Dolphins getting their asses kicked by the Chiefs was the Cowboys and the Eagles got their asses kicked worse. So the heat was off of us. Your Packers killed it against the Cowboys. Really, I actually couldn't believe that they did so well. I'm really proud of you guys. So yeah, I'm rooting for your Packers. Hopefully they'll do well. And I'm still, I can't not be into football. It's the way I am. And I'll be looking forward to it. But yes, my thoughts have already turned to Dolphins 2024. So let's see what happens.
So you're saying that the Dolphins have zero chance of getting a Super Bowl?
Well, they lost. So yeah, they're out.
There's no chance whatsoever.
Chance. Yeah. They don't get to play any more games. They're done.
Sorry to hear that, bro.
Now it's the Bills and the Chiefs and the Texans and the Ravens on the one side. And then on the other side, you got the 49ers and the Packers. And you've also got the Detroit Lions and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Those are the 8 teams left.
I feel like the Packers have like an unfair advantage where like they're always playing in the playoffs when it's like super cold and like these guys train in the cold.
Well, they won in Dallas in the Dome. So they beat the crap out of Dallas at home, which is crazy because Dallas didn't lose at home for like 14 games.
Wow.
So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
All right. So there's something I would like to talk about that I thought was ridiculous. And it's this thing. It's coming from Fox. Ohio pastor facing criminal charges every day to house the homeless. Yes.
Okay.
To house the homeless. And just watch this real quick.
Finally, the pastor of Dad's Place in Bryan, Ohio, facing charges tonight after opening his church to the homeless. The local zoning commission told
Church
the
is called
church
Dad's
they
Place.
could no longer house the homeless because there's no bedrooms and people are not allowed to eat or sleep on the property. Apparently, it's better to do so outside in the cold. Church, they could 18 charges of zoning.
What this guy said was actually pretty funny. He's like, so people cannot, they're not allowed to sleep there or eat there because there's not enough bedrooms. So apparently it's better to sleep out in the cold. These are the charges.
I don't understand. So they can't sleep there
Violations. He says he gets a new charge every
because of
day
zoning
that
violations?
He remains open, and that
Yes.
pastor, Chris Savell, joins
Because
us.
of zoning violations. So what's happening is because there's not enough rooms at his church, people can't sleep there. You have to have enough rooms for people to sleep there.
So are you telling me that I can only have at my house, I can only have enough people stay over if I have bedrooms for them? Is that the law?
I don't know, Shane. I don't.
Fuck you, government.
Yeah.
How about that? How about fuck you?
And he's getting literally a daily fine. Of every single day, they're dropping off a new fine.
Where is this at?
In Texas, bro.
The fuck is wrong with these people?
I'm sorry, Ohio, not Texas. Ohio.
Well, somebody needs their ass. I mean, obviously, it's fucking cold outside. You know, put as many people inside, you know, to sleep as possible. I mean, that's his choice. It's his church. You know, what are they worried about? What's the violation for, Brian?
Yeah, the zoning.
How is it affecting the city?
Right. And that is the bigger question. The zoning laws are almost always completely one-sided, where it doesn't affect anyone, but for some reason you're getting a fine for it. This is the one that pissed me off the most, and I don't want to become Adam Carolla here, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, bro. When the fire department comes to our shop, and I've learned to keep the doors locked so they can't get in. But this is actually true. They come to our shop and they start looking for problems. And they're like, well, you got 4 outlets in here and all of them are being used. I'm like, yeah, they're outlets. Well, they can't all be used at the same time. Then why do I have 4 of them? Yeah, they look up and they see the fluorescent lighting, and they're like, oh, you know what? You have 18 fluorescent lights. You should only have a fluorescent light every 6 feet. Then we couldn't see in here if that was the case.
But I mean, even that is like, okay, fine. It's like fire hazard stuff, which is great. Okay. But these are literally human beings. I mean, if I want to stack 10 bodies high so that they can sleep, I mean, it's my fucking business. It's
Right.
not affecting the fire. There's no fire hazard. There's no, I want to know how it's affecting the city. I mean, if this was me, dude, I'd be up City Hall's ass with this.
No, and I guess this guy reached out to the news for that reason, because they're getting fines on the daily, and he can actually face criminal charges pretty soon if those fines don't start getting paid, if he can't afford the fines. And
I gotta know why.
And the alternative here is that the people sleep outside in the cold.
Doesn't make any sense, man.
No, it doesn't. Here, I'll play the rest of what he says.
At First Liberty
I can't hear it,
Institute,
so I don't know.
Jeremy
I'm
Diss.
sorry.
Let me look
Dice,
at the
Jeremy,
news
or
story,
Diss?
maybe.
Dice.
Dice, got it. So sorry, Pastor, to you, your church is not allowed to take in the homeless. The kind of conundrum here, because they're
Oh, it's a
saying
video,
you
so I
don't
can't
have
look- I can't
beds,
read
but
it.
you're not allowed to have beds. So because you don't have beds, you can't have homeless staying in there overnight. It seems unbelievable that they want the people outside in the cold versus inside the church.
Yeah, well, last year we made the decision to keep our
I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut this guy off. Have you guys ever seen Impractical Jokers?
Yeah.
stores open 24/7.
This guy
we had opened
looks just like
during,
Sal Volcano.
Extreme cold before to allow people in, and it's kind of the same
He
thing.
does.
We believe that it.
Well, that's the pastor. Yeah. So bottom line is, there's not enough beds, there's not enough rooms, and so they can't stay there, and so instead they're sleeping outside.
I just want to know why.
Yeah, I
I
don't
want to
think
know why that law exists.
because,
Well, okay,
because that's the law.
I want to know why though. Like laws don't just exist because why? What is it? Where do they live?
Ohio.
Why in Ohio can you only sleep so many people in a house? There it is. Rule. There it is. Ohio Administrative Code. Each facility shall have a minimum of 80 square feet per resident for a single occupancy room and a minimum of 60 square feet per resident for a multiple occupancy bedroom, regardless of the availability of the square footage, blah, 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 blah. Any facility that does not meet this requirement shall get their ass booted. Let's see.
You know what's funny is somehow California is more, and this is a first for me. California is more reasonable with this than Ohio. California, they follow the federal occupancy standards where they go, a landlord, they require landlords to allow at least 2 people to a bedroom, which means there's no reasonable limit. Just you can allow up to now the landlord can set the occupancy, right? But they have to allow at least 2 bedrooms, 2 people to a bedroom minimum. Most landlords don't ever set a limit. They don't really care as long as the rent's getting paid.
Interesting. Well, I just don't see the why. I'd like to know Ohio law. If someone sleeps on your couch, you can't make them leave.
Dude, in Texas, the maximum amount of people that can live in a dwelling is 3 times the number of bedrooms in that dwelling. So there's some weird rules out there.
That is weird. I mean, I just want to know why. Like, give me, like, fine, make a rule, but let's give me the why. Why is the government getting involved in your personal life? Do they have something to gain from it? Are they trying to protect you from something? I mean, those are the 2 reasons why the government does anything.
Yeah,
right?
fines. They get to.
Or are
get
they just
fines.
arbitrarily being dickheads?
You know, I think they're just trying to slap fines on the guy. I bet you $10 says there's people down there that don't like the fact that the guy's a church or a pastor. If it was like some kind of non-denominational, non-religious, halfway house or something, it probably wouldn't be getting the same scrutiny. And I don't know that for a fact, but usually when someone has gone up against that hard and the alternative is people sleeping out in the freezing cold, I think there might be an agenda behind it.
I mean, I get rental properties. Like there's laws against, protecting the landlord. Of course, you can't have too many people living in a dog. I get that. Like those rules make sense. But if I own a place and I want to have as many people live in there or sleep in there as I want, so apparently it's a fire safety rule is what I'm reading here. Or probably. So they think it's going to cause a fire if you have too many people living in the room.
Or maybe it's harder for them to get out of the room or something.
I don't know.
It's silly. Chappie in the Popcast chat says, well, you can also hunt a rifle. You also can't hunt buffalo from a window while taking a bath. That's a law. I've read that before.
What? That's a law?
You can't.
Why would it even be on the books?
Hunt.
That means somebody tried.
Buffalo from a window while taking a bath. In Orange County, like where I live, there's something called the Orange Circle, and it's like one of the most historic parts of Orange. It's where like all the buildings started when everything was orange groves. There was like that was like the center of town, and then there was like a spattering of houses. It's probably where some of the oldest buildings in the world. In Orange are in that area, and there is still a rule. There is still on the books. It's actually I've been joking about this since high school. There's still a law on the books that says that if your public establishment doesn't have a place to tie up your horse, then they can be fined. And so when you walk around the Orange Circle, mm-hmm. you see what looks like bike racks, but they're far too thin to be bike racks. Like a tire won't fit in there, because almost every one of those businesses, just to make sure they didn't have problems, would set up these stupid little horse racks, basically, so you could tie up your horse. And they were doing it up until like the 90s, bro. And there's
Wow, that's crazy.
No one's riding
I think
a horse.
there's also rules against spitting. Like you can't spit outside.
Yeah, you can't spit out the window or something, right?
Yeah, you can't spit in public or Drew D says we have a law where you can't have a goat ride in the front seat of a car. Well, that's probably for the safety of you wrecking into somebody else, I'm guessing.
I love this one. In Alaska, moose may not be viewed from an airplane.
What?
In Alaska, there's a law that says moose may not be viewed from an airplane.
Okay.
Here's an added
that one.
In addition to that law, it's also considered an offense to push a live moose out of a moving airplane. Yeah, I'm assuming that's the case.
That sounds dumb.
And it's also an offense to feed alcoholic beverages to a moose. All of these things someone tried at some point, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah.
In Arkansas, this is a law. A man cannot legally beat his wife, but not more than once a month.
Well, you know where that rule of thumb comes from.
And alligators cannot be kept in bathtubs. Showers are fine.
All right. You know where rule of thumb comes from, right?
No.
You used to be able to you could hit yourself you could hit your wife with a stick, but it couldn't be wider than your thumb.
Jeez.
That was a law.
How about this one? I'm going to stop using the term rule of thumb.
You can't cut a cactus in Arizona.
Really?
Yeah. You have a right to sunlight in California.
Really?
There's no explosive fishing in Indiana. You can't use explosives to fish.
That's funny. Here's one. Connecticut. In order for a pickle to officially be considered a pickle, it must bounce. My favorite one is it's unlawful to walk backwards after sunset.
That's weird. Sounds dumb. How about this one? No snakes near the Mardi Gras parade.
Oh my God. In Hawaii, coins are not allowed to be placed in one's ears. They had too many magicians doing coin tricks.
Oh, in North Carolina, there's no drunk bingo.
I love this. In Michigan, this is a current law. A woman is not allowed to cut her hair without her husband's permission. At some point there was like a politician who was like, no, listen, Nancy, I like long hair. God damn it. Do not cut your hair. I'm not. All right. You know what, boys?
Well, that's because the Bible says a woman's hair is her glory, and the Bible talks about not cutting your hair.
And also, it also mentions that you'll be strong if you have long hair. And I had long hair and I was not strong.
True. What's up with hair, man? I know. Bible.
Oh, in Mississippi, it's illegal to teach others what polygamy is. However, polygamy is legal.
That's weird. Oh,
I love this. In Nebraska, if a child burps during church, his parent can be arrested.
What?
Yes.
Is it an old law? Is that still a law?
No, it's on the books. I'm sure it's not actually.
Yeah.
I love this one. In Nebraska, which last time I checked, there's not a whole lot of whales. It's illegal to go whale fishing.
That's weird.
A lot of whales in Nebraska. Pretty sure it's
maybe some ladies.
Yeah, maybe it was like you can't hunt the larger ladies. Okay, gotta stick to the younger ones. They're more nimble. Oh my God. It's 100% agree with the pickle bounce law, says Chappie.
Chappie says it's law that you can be legally married by publicly introducing a person as your spouse 3 times.
That's awesome.
That's great. That's how you get a girl that won't date you. Just take her around and say you're married to her.
Yeah, Drew says almost all these laws are due to economic reasons. Yeah, it's just trying to find people of death. Oh, you can't fish for whales because they're mammals.
So, what does that mean?
Like, I mean, last time I
What does
checked,
that mean, Art Mage?
because they're
You can't-
like you can't shoot. Maybe you can't hunt mammals.
You can't hunt mammals. Is that a law? Are you allowed to hunt? Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, wolves are mammals. Coyotes.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
Is it?
I want to publish a book on Amazon about all the most insane laws. still
I'm
in the
sure
books.
somebody's done that.
I'm sure. But my cover will be way cooler. Yeah, so Nebraska is landlocked.
Yeah. Yes. I know. That's why it makes no sense. They might have a lake. They got some lakes, I'm sure.
No, it's triple landlocked. That's the term is called triply landlocked, meaning that it's apparently it's rare, meaning that it's circled by 3 states on either side from the nearest Gulf, Bay, or ocean, which means that it has no body of water.
There's no ocean.
Yeah. It's literally in the center of the country.
Wait a second. Map of the U.S. Wait a sec. So you're saying that it's unique? What? Triple landlocked? What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Yeah. The state is the only triply landlocked U.S. state. That's what it says.
Only triply landlocked. So like where it's like 3 states removed from water. Is that it?
Yeah. Nebraska isn't just landlocked. It's actually the only triple landlocked. I said triply. Triple landlocked state in the country. That means you have to travel through at least 3 states or 2 states in a Canadian province to reach an ocean.
Oh, an ocean. I see. Yeah.
Right. So it's illegal to hunt whales in the only triple landlocked state in the country.
Well, okay.
I want to see someone break that law.
South Dakota, you're right. They can go North Dakota and then Manitoba before getting to Hudson Bay. You're right. That's interesting. Well, who wants to live in Nebraska anyways? No offense to anybody who lives there. A lot of corn in that state.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't even have very much water either. Like their largest body of water is Lake McCogny, which is pretty small in comparison. It's only 4 miles wide. It's not that big of a lake.
That's true. Well, what do you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, that's wild. Shabby says Nebraska definitely means the fannies. Don't hunt them.
Oh, the fatties. Don't hunt them, people.
That's really funny.
Oh. Yeah, yesterday I ended up driving all the way up to Modesto. And somehow I traveled up the 101 and I ended up having to go through like the back roads to get someplace.
Right.
And I ended up on these very tiny farm roads and I drove right in front of these giant cow farms. Right. Like literally I'm like on the road and within like 20 feet is a giant cow farm with tons of cows. And of course they're just waiting to be slaughtered.
And it just smells horrible. Right.
I had the windows up and of course I'm not going to do that. It smells terrible. But the conditions are just fucking terrible. Like I really, they're all like laying in mud. There's like no grass anywhere. It was just fucking terrible.
That sucks.
I understand it's an industry of meat and I'm not going to stop eating hamburger and steak and shit, but the conditions are fucking terrible.
Yeah. Have you ever been, I'm sure you have. It's out here in SoCal. Damn it. I'm forgetting the place. It's like where Mobile is, where Uline is at. Where city is that? By Moreno Valley. That I'm forgetting the name of the freaking city. It's like
Well, what about it?
Anyways, this city, when you drive through it, it just smells like pure methane. Like, it's
Bakersfield's like that.
Bakersfield's like, yeah. It's so bad. Like, even with the windows up, everything, like, you become nauseous. Just trying to, I couldn't imagine living there. And at what point does that much methane become poisonous? Because it just smells like pure cow farts everywhere.
I don't think it's like harmful. It just really stinks.
I stopped at the gas station and I was like almost throwing up, just trying to put like $10.
Bad.
Just trying to get some gas in my tank so I can get the heck out of there.
Yeah, no, it's terrible smell. And they honestly, I mean, we got to figure out a way to like pasteurize these cows. Let them, I know they're trying to make them bigger, fatter. There's a whole bunch of stuff into that, but holy cow, it's, I don't know if it's doing anything to the environment, but it does smell really bad. So
yeah, no, there's no way it's good. I don't think it can't be good for the environment, that much methane. Cause like, I know for a fact that there are way more cows than there would be if it was just like in nature,
Oh, well, they got to keep feeding people.
Right. So like that methane, and like, listen, the planet's very big. It probably hasn't not doing anything, but it has to be doing at least a little something, right?
I just don't understand how cow farts. I don't know. There's a whole thing on like,
because methane is light or whatever, and it adds the greenhouse gases, right?
We also have like 5 times the number of human beings on this planet that we had.
Right, and we fart a lot too.
We all fart.
But the majority of us, though, when we go poop, it goes in the toilet, and it gets processed.
Not the gas.
Well, no, that's not true. Like the whole point of that little U shape in your toilet is to stop the gas from coming back up out of the toilet.
Well, I mean, okay, I don't want to get into this directly, but when you're sitting on a toilet, you're not exactly trapping all the methane under your ass.
Right, but first off, cows fart way more than we do, and when they poo, they just poo on the ground. Yeah, cows fart a lot. And you know why they fart so much? Because
they have 4 stomachs.
Oh, yeah, sure. But they're also being fed the wrong thing. They're being fed like shit they're not supposed to eat. They're supposed to eat grass, not fucking cornmeal. That's not what cows were ever meant to eat. So they fart a lot because we're trying to fatten them up.
Interesting. Okay. Enough of this fucking topic. Back to something interesting.
Drew
August
D,
TV 123.
Drew D says methane actually destroys more ozone in the short time, but it breaks down more quickly than carbon. Interesting.
All right. That's cool. August 123 TV. Is that rumored Picard movie real?
The AI thing. I got to show you guys the AI thing. Oh, man, I should have showed you guys on the regular show. Okay, well, you guys are all members here. Ready? I'm going to show you guys the AI thing.
I just did write a question. Hold on a second.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I forgot. My bad. Right. I got really excited for a second.
August. No, not true. Okay, Brian, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, no, there's no Picard movie coming.
No, there's no. Yeah, it's not happening.
Although I will say Patrick Stewart really, really wants it to. Yeah, he likes to get another payday.
Yeah, he really. Come on, guys. One more for the books. One more where you're pushing me around on my walker. Okay, so this past Monday, whatever last show we were at, we said, look, what we're gonna do is we're gonna give Shane 3, our AI, a human face. Yeah. And someone suggested that we take it from all the members. So I said, if you want to be part of the combined...
That was
Archmage. If you want to be part of the combined face of Shane 3, then drop your picks in the Unleashed channel on Discord. And what happened was, people did. We got...
Look at them sexy mugs.
I don't know. Josh. Just pick up Josh.
Josh Temple. We got Jeremy, Bear. Nice. Yeah. Archmage Frey. Nice.
Rec.
Some good looking people out there.
He said that JC said this is me, and then he said, I'm just kidding. Justin Baker. And then who is this guy? Archmage too? And then JC Chappie. Okay, the real me. So there's Chappie. And then, of course, we got Euron.
Cool.
I don't know why are the names cut off? It's so weird. So what I did was I took all those faces, you guys.
Awesome. This is going to be great.
Yes.
All right.
And I ran them through, and I ran it through Shane 3. Now, the first result I got was interesting. It was very cool. Actually, the very, very first result was like sort of bad. So what I did was I increased the amount of epochs that the thing can use. And so basically it was running at like 200 epochs, and I gave it 800 epochs. And that's the amount of times it can process an image to learn from it. So so,
gobble 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 goo goo goo. Give me the
whatever. At 800 epochs, this is the face.
You got to say epochs again every time.
This is the face of our members, and now the real face of Shane 3.
Oh, dang. Okay. I mean, he fits in, bro.
It does. It works.
Now
I want you guys to know something. So notice that character looks cool, right? Cool. But
yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm seeing the face, and it did a great job of capturing the face. But there's a lot going on in all these images that it didn't really find. So I increased, this is why I brought up the epochs. I increased the epochs to 2,000 epochs. And I let it.
I still don't know what an epoch is, dude.
It's the amount of times it can scan the same image over and over again to learn from it.
Got it.
So it makes it more detailed, right? So I gave it 2,000 epochs, and it took 26 hours to pop this image out. Yes. Now remember this. In the Discord, Jeremy included a lot of these kind of images.
Oh. Okay, all right. So we got some Viking shit going on?
A lot of Viking stuff, axes, right?
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of stuff like that. And I think that because Jeremy had more pictures than everyone else, except from, pretty much more than anyone else, it really learned a lot from Jeremy. Because this is the result I got after 2,000 epochs.
Whoa, okay. Wait, isn't that it's the same face?
It's the same face. It just added detail. It gave him a weird bended battle axe and a top hat for some reason.
I mean, it looks cool. I love that extra stuff, but I think the other face is better for like to put on the screen with us.
Yes, of course. Yeah,
That's cool.
I realized when this actually popped out that this was like obviously too much.
So it's giving him a backstory.
It's called overtraining. You can overtrain an AI to where it just produces random crap.
So it's giving him a backstory, dude.
Right. So it's apparently it's a gentleman with a top hat and a battle axe. So it's like a Viking gentleman, I think.
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah.
I don't know.
Looks good. Let's go back to the other face. There we go. That fits into the brothers there. It's got the hat on backwards.
Yeah, it's funny. I've never seen a hat. Have you ever seen a hat like that? Like it clearly just like made that hat up out of nowhere. And Rek is bald, so it made sure that the character was bald.
Well, is he bald or?
Well, in the pictures he's bald. I'm not sure if he's bald.
Oh, is he? Kind of a handsome dude.
Yeah, he's got the salt and pepper beard, which is the majority of our members have some kind of facial hair.
Yeah.
It also generated one with glasses, but for some reason and I think it's because the quality of the images were low, it didn't give him eyes. It was just glasses with no eyes. So
I like it. I think that's great.
There you go, guys. That is, am I saying it wrong? Epoch? Is it called Epoch, really? Whatever.
What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, epic?
Epoch? Epoch, epic, whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's the face. That is the IRL face of Shane 3.
That's all you guys mixed together.
And what we'll do
Good looking group.
is as more pictures get added into there, I'll add more.
It's going to change?
I'll add more pictures. The more members we get, and we'll let Shane 3 age. He'll age, and his face will change depending on how many people are. That's how he ages, with how much data he has to pull from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looks like that dude that does the barefoot wine commercials for the NFL. That's cool.
I still think that I can't. I hope. Hopefully, Jeremy sees this. I think this is funny.
I'm sure he'll see it. Awesome. So yeah, we can just throw him up there on the screen with us every once in a while. Have him as a. Can you put him up there like where you put what's his name, Wesley?
Yeah, guys, listen. If you're listening to this right now, whether you're a man or woman, I don't care what you are, or gender fluid, I don't care. Put your pictures in Unleashed if you want to be part of the ever evolving Shane 3 image. And what we'll do is at the end of the year, we'll show the evolution. We'll show him morphing from this first image into what he becomes at the end of the year.
Okay. Well, how can they give us pictures?
Discord, Unleashed channel.
And please let it be your real pictures. I know.
Yeah.
Don't be worried about.
Yeah.
If you want, can they send them privately if they don't want to share with everybody?
If you don't want to share with everyone, you can message me on Discord. That's fine too.
Yeah. There you go.
And just tell me if you don't want anyone to see what it looks like.
Chappie wants to know if you can make his mouth move when he talks.
Yes, I can actually.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I can. I can literally actually.
Oh, you know what you could do?
A Python extension just came out that allows you to batch images, and you know what a movie is, right? It's just a lot of images. So
okay, yeah, true. Okay, could you do this? Can you have everybody record their voice and then combine all of the voices together? I
love it
to make Shane's voice.
I like the fact that you are Shane's voice.
Yeah, but
I also like the fact what I'll do is, I haven't tried this. This is actually be an experiment for me. Have it train on multiple samples to come up with one general, average sample, and that'll be his voice.
Chappie says we should include our pictures as well.
Yeah, I thought about that, but I had not talked to you yet, so I didn't.
Maybe just one. Yeah. Pick a photo. Pick a good one. Cool. All right, that sounds fun. The evolution of Shane.
Yeah.
Shane 3.
Shane 3 is evolving.
Drew's going to throw some pics in there.
I know we have some women members. Throw your pictures in there. I want to see what comes out of that. Some weird, amalgamation person,
Yeah. Archmage wants to know, are we going to bring back the Shane 3 channel to use for this 4? That's a good idea.
If we make them talk, we would have to, huh?
Yeah, we just got to come up with we have to come up with they were interesting. I love kind of those little movie trailers and stuff, but I just want it to make a little more sense. Maybe shorter.
Yeah,
they're too long.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, I think you're right.
Do a 5-minute movie review or something.
Archmage says it wasn't shirtless. There was actually. So hold up. For some
Brian
reason,
didn't put this picture in there yet.
I didn't show you guys that picture, but there was, because it was all discombobulated. But there was one picture, when it was first starting to output pictures, because it outputs hundreds of images, and I just usually pick from the last 2 or 3 because those are the best ones. But there was one where that character was naked, full body, but he had no penis. It was just like a mound. It was like a Ken mound. It was real weird, bro. Weird as fuck.
What are you trying to say? We're all cucked?
I think that the training data didn't have any penises. It just had skin tone.
Makes sense. I don't know who's sending dick pics to the AI.
It didn't have any nipples or penis. It was just like a Ken doll, bro.
It's I don't know what to do with this thing.
And it was so weird. It was he was like this.
So August TV said shorter would be good, but they were funny the way they were. Okay, well, we'll see what we do, August. Maybe we'll figure out something. They were fun to do. I don't know how much time it took Brian to put them together, but
someone, by the way, Archmage, someone's out there training AI with genitals, because I've generated images where there was definitely genitals involved. And so when you
just
generate,
stop talking. We don't.
I'm not generating them for my own pleasure. But so when you generate images, you have to give it positive keywords and negative keywords, right? Negative prompts. And I have 600 negative prompts for telling it because a negative prompt would also be disconfigured eyes, misshapen, whatever, whatever. You have to give it prompts to make sure it creates a human and not a fucking monster. Well,
I guess that depends on your members.
What? I guess right. One of I was generating images. And I kept getting a lot of genitalia for some reason. It was some kind of training data. I had to actually add into my negative prompts genitalia, penis, vagina. I had to add all of the anatomically correct words to make sure it didn't generate any of that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, less dick.
August TV says submit pics of your member for Shane 3's member. Don't do that. We don't want to see anybody's members.
All right, brother. If you're listening to this and you haven't added a picture, go to Discord, add a picture, or email us at our Gmail. It's on the channel, or private message me. But get me your image and I'll include it in that amalgamation person. Okay.
All right. I like it. The member stream gives a whole new meaning to the word member.
The members section.
A member stream is what you do in the bathroom.
Are you gonna do one? Yeah. If there's more pictures, because it doesn't take really much work for me. I toss it in the folder and then I start another process, and I'm not using Shane for anything else. Although you might see it when it's working on images, you might see it if you're using it in Discord, its responses will be slower because there's less computer power.
Oh, all right.
Okay, guys, we're out of here. We love you.
I don't want those member berries. You're funny, Mark H. All right. Well, this is, hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll be back on Monday.
Yep.
And remember to catch us live. If not, you're a member, so you'll get to see it regardless. And wish us luck. I'm trying to finish up the Voyager doc.
Yeah. Shane really needs to finish that up. I'm over here. I've never been anxious about starting work. And usually I'm like, oh, maybe it takes some longer, whatever, it's less work for me. But now I'm like, oh, fuck, I gotta get this thing started. fuck.
Well, you got the thumbnail, you got to get the t-shirt ready, you got some things you still got to do.
Thumbnail's pretty much done. I gotta talk to Danny about the t-shirt. You're right. I do. You're
gotta
right.
get the t-shirt up, but I do have a few days. I got a new source material that most people aren't aware of. That's going to give us some really cool insight on Voyager that most people don't know. So
he broke into Kate Mulgrew's house. I told him not to, but gotta do what you gotta do.
Kate was like, "Damn you, get out of my house."
She was like, "Oh, hello there."
No, hold on, stay.
Wait a minute. Coffee?
Nice.
Do I smell coffee on your breath?
There's coffee out there in that nebula.
All right, guys, that's it. We're out of here. Drop your images in Discord. We love you so much. We'll be back on Monday. Stay tuned. Talk on Discord. Let's chat. Let's keep this conversation going. Have an awesome day. And I'm gonna leave you guys with this.
Love you guys.
I'm gonna leave you with
Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just
this guy.